And topic number 2 today comes to us from Max Dorsett, who writes, I'll add my name to the people telling you have to see BlakKklansmen. Saw it last night and it's awesome. Then I see this story about the director of Sorry to Bother You talking all sorts of shit about it. Saying stuff like Spike Lee changed the story and got paid off to make cops look good. Personally, the whole thing made him look like a spoiled child who is just upset another movie is getting more attention than his now. Your thoughts? All right, we kind of alluded to this off the top. And like you, Max, although when you say last night, you probably meant 2 nights ago. And I actually saw BlakKklansman last night. So let's just get this out. BlakKklansman's awesome. I mean, maybe you see it and you don't like it, and that's fine. All film's subjective. From my point of view, I was completely blown away by it. Just loved it. And here's one of the brilliant things about BlakKklansman. Spike Lee, who again, I've never been the biggest Spike Lee fan in the world, but Spike Lee finds a way to take this very heavy subject matter with very serious ramifications, but deliver it in a very palatable way to a movie audience, because many times in this film feels very light, and you can make an argument this is a comedy. So Spike Lee delivers this film in such a way that he's delivering all the power of it while making it very palatable and not smacking you across the face with the heaviness of it, but rather keeping it light. And then when you get to the end of the movie, I'm not going to give anything away, you realize you did get the full impact of the film. It's just brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. So, this article comes out yesterday. This gentleman here, Boots Riley, he is the director of Sorry to Bother You. A horrible, terrible mess of a film that it's just beyond me. You know, I often say this, and it's true here. There are movies that I love that I go, yeah, I get why other people don't like it. Sure, yeah, I understand that. And there are movies that I hate where I go, yeah, I get why people like it. Sure, I mean, it wasn't for me. I thought it was terrible, but I could see why some people would like it. I came out of Sorry to Bother You absolutely certain I would open up Rotten Tomatoes and see a 0 on it. Like completely 100% certain I would see a 0 on it. And I was floored. I don't know where it's at right now, but it was at over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes when I saw it. And I'm like, I cannot for the life of me imagine why anybody saw any artistic merit in this film. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. You know what it is? Here's what I like. And if you guys remember, I was so excited for this movie. I was so stoked for BlakKklansman, for Sorry to Bother You. I was so excited about it. I was like running on about it, about how I can't wait to see this thing as it was coming out. To me, this is what Sorry to Bother You is. It's a 12-year-old child who looks in the dictionary one day and learns a new word, allegory. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. And having a 12-year-old mind, what he does is he goes into school, drops his pants, and takes a giant shit on the floor, then picks up his own piece of shit and draws a picture of a snowman with his crap on a piece of paper and say, it's an allegory and it means this, because he just learned what allegory means, right? And then to my shock and surprise, everybody stood around that crappy, made with a piece of crap painting and went, oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that great? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's an ugly snowman made with a piece of shit. No, it's awesome. It's allegory. Guess what? It's not allegory. When you explain the allegories in your own movie and you hit the audience over the head with it, it's not an allegory anymore. Now it's just really bad storytelling. Anyway, I've been penting that up. Honestly, I think Sorry to Bother You is the worst film of the year. I think it is the worst film of the year. And don't pull that BS on me of, oh, you just didn't get it. No, I understood. You'd have to be an idiot not to understand it, because everything is so over-explained with these ridiculous, motifs that just made no sense and just made a jarbled mess of a film that other people sit around and go, oh, isn't that wonderful? It's terrible. But anyway, all film is subjective. If you liked it, that's great. I'm just expressing my own point of view on it. That's all. My point of view is no more, no less valid than yours. And if you liked it, that's great. However, Boots decides, first of all, I think that's actually a pretty cool name. I like the dude's name. It's pretty cool. Anyway, he decides to write this piece. And it's basically a hit piece on BlakKklansmen. Oh, look, a new movie coming out that the critics like more than yours and is getting more attention than yours. So he comes out and writes this piece. And remember, I'm reading this before seeing BlakKklansmen. So I read this article that he wrote yesterday during the day. I went to go see BlakKklansmen last night. So I read the article having not seen the film. But he's going on to say, there are things in this movie that are fabricated. I'm like, well, yeah. All movies, even movies based on true stories, have pieces that are fabricated for the movie. We're talking about the movie. Is the movie good? That's all I care about. You guys have heard me talk about that many, 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 many times. So yeah, okay, I assume there's going to be parts of the thing that are fabricated for the movie. All I care about is the movie. That's all I care about. Anyway. Then he goes on to talk about that, how basically Spike Lee, all he did in this movie was it was a big propaganda piece to try to make cops look good and try to make cops look like the hero. And then he even drops the suggestion that Spike Lee got paid off by police to make this movie, to make a movie where cops are the heroes. I swear to God, he flat out suggests this in this article. And I'm like, whoa. So now I'm going in to BlakKklansmen expecting to see, every police officer in the country is this shining knight, always just upright and good and standing up for the right. And I'm watching this movie and it's like, wow, almost all the cops in this movie are total assholes. Like, the cops in this movie are jerks. And the story focuses on this small group of cops who are some of the good ones. But make no mistake about it, they show, like, racism and corruption and vileness within the police department as well. They completely show that stuff. Our lead character is a black cop, and there's even the scene in the movie, I'm not going to give away the context or anything, but there's a scene in the movie where a black cop is getting beat up by other cops just because he's black. This movie, after reading Boots' article, I went in expecting to see all police shining. It's like, no. This movie does not portray all police as big, heroic. No, they show that at the time, there was a real rotten segment within the police departments. Fine. But it also showed that, hey, at the same time, there were some good ones that were trying to do good things. So I didn't see, and here's where it really comes down to for me. And I've said this before. It's been a few years since we've had a situation like this. But what Boots Riley has now painted himself. He's painted himself as a jealous, petulant child who's just mad that somebody else's movie is getting better reviews than his and is getting more attention than his. I have always said this. I will continue to say this. It is completely inappropriate, I believe, for a director to come out and crap talk other directors' movies while their movies are out in theater. I think it's completely inappropriate. Like, you can have your own opinions about it, and maybe you can even talk about them a few years down the road. But I really believe if you are a director in the Hollywood studio system and you're putting out wide release films and all this kind of stuff, you can have your own opinion, and you don't have to lie and say you like another director's stuff. But you don't come out and attack other directors' stuff if you yourself are a director with a movie in theaters right now. It's just bad form. And I'm using a polite term there. It's just bad form. Because when you do otherwise, you make yourself look like a jealous, whiny little baby. And that's what he's done here. He's made himself look like a jealous, petulant, whiny, crying baby because somebody else brought a fancier looking toy car to the play date than he did. And it's embarrassing. Now, granted, I'm a little bit more fueled up about it because on top of all that, I thought this guy's movie sucked. I thought it was terrible. But take that out of it for a second. Even if I thought, like a lot of other critics, and don't lose sight of that, a lot of other people like this movie. Sorry to bother you. A lot of people like it. So even if I was one of those other people, that's still not cool. For you to sit here and trash on another, especially saying the things, and to even come out and flat out insinuate that the other filmmaker is taking bribes from police just to make police look good. It's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, look, I've never liked Sorry to Bother You, the movie, but I've always respected the attempt, right? I've always respected the attempt. I gotta tell you, and not that anybody would care, but any respect I had for this guy is kind of doing this. Attacking another filmmaker whose movie's getting better reviews than you, even saying they're taking money and they're taking bribes and they're this and they're that and they had an agenda and blah. It's like, why are you talking right now? Just shush. Stop speaking. Shh. Just sit back. A lot of people like your movie. Let people like your movie. And let people like the other guy's movie. No, I don't want people to like the other guy's movies. I'm going to talk crap about... I don't get it. To summarize, Sorry to Bother You, horrible movie. BlakKklansmen, awesome movie. I mean, that's just the way I see it. But again, all film is subjective. You may see... Maybe you hated BlakKklansman and you love Sorry to Bother You. That's cool too. As long as you get enjoyment out of movies, that's all I care about. But that's simply the way I saw it. Anyway... Let's move on to question number 3.